So this arbutus here is probably one of the tattiest looking things in the garden right now. The horticulturists have been very interested in cleaning it up, but I've had to delay them because they knew about this talk. I understand from Douglas that the reason that this particular one was damaged is because it was subjected to winter pruning, and it had developed a lot of leaves, a lot of shoots from behind where the prune was made, and so it actually is more foliage than what would normally be expected, and because of that, the large snowflakes that we had originally weighted it down and broke the branches and made it look quite messy. So this brachioglottis here is probably a good example of most of the damage. Things above ground were hit fairly hard by the cold, but they're just going to be pruned back and they'll resprout from the base. It's this little Asteraceae right here. So it's just going to mean a bit more maintenance work for the folks, but nothing too extensive. We're not expecting too many of those sorts of losses of those kind of perennials. Anything that was really covered by the snow seemed to turn out okay, with a few exceptions of some of the things in the food garden, which we'll take a look at. So this fence here that's covered by Hobelia, which is a member of the Lardizabulaceae, related to achebias and those dead man's fingers on the bridge that's on the lower part of Asian Way. Well, here between the weight of the Hobelia and the weight of the snow, the fence is collapsed. We'll go take a look at it from the other side. Right, it is kind of nice. Yeah, it has some appeal, but you know, it's gone from what, a 4.5 foot fence to a 3 foot. So it's just a combination of the weight. We'll start with the branch here from the hemlock. There was a fair number of branches that came down: cedars, hemlock, Douglas fir. Most of those have been cleaned up by now, just to give you an idea. They tended to be smaller branches. Not a lot of big tree damage. When I was here over the holidays, there was a gentle breeze coming in from the coast, and it knocked off a lot of the snow. So by the time the snow became really heavy, when it was melting and it was accumulating rain, there wasn't a lot left on the trees. And Distalum racemosum, it has a few smaller branches with damage, but if you come from this side, you can see the large bits of damage that occurred in previous years with branch breakage. This one seems very, very susceptible to load from snow, and because of that, because they seem to have to end up pruning it or taking care of it every year, it's slated for removal. We're not going to bother with it anymore. Again, it's got that fairly intense grouping of foliage, so it kind of lends itself to that. And I don't know quite why it's the wood is so brittle itself, but cellular properties of solutes in the cells, not enough to prevent water turning to ice crystals, cell breakage, and things turn to mush like this little cauliflower right here. I find this fairly amusing with this cauliflower because the cultivar is all the year round. Clearly not something that I'd want on my dinner plate. Looks like something that someone from... What's that? Yeah. Well, so a lot of the stuff in the food garden, mostly mush. On the opposite side of things, the Brussels sprouts, the ones that were above the snow, lasted. I mean, they have some damage, but they'll be fine. So, there you go. Different plants, different reactions to the snow. So before we go look at some of the things in the alpine garden that have been damaged, I wanted to point out the yew hedge around the physic garden. When the snow was on it, the branches were touching the tips of the hedge was touching the ground. It was bent over. But as was explained to me by some of the horticulturists, it sprung back like a Russian gymnast. So it looks just fine now.